What's good, fight fans? UFC 321 just wrapped up. This is going to be my full recap of the card. We had some chaos on the main card. Sick prelims, some really good fights in the prelims. Big moments and plenty of blood. The main card was a bit of a letdown, and the main event, obviously, anticlimactic as hell. My picks were pretty cooked as well. I went 6-6 overall. Main event one, not even counting. 1-1 on locks, even though I reckon Jose Delgado got absolutely robbed. But we still had a few sharp reads on this card. Let's talk about each of the fights. We'll start at the main event and we'll work our way back. So, the main event, Ciryl Gane versus Tom Aspinall, ends in a round 1 no contest. The heavyweight chaos just continues. This division's completely cooked and cursed, and it remains right there. We thought maybe now that John Jones had retired, we might get some closure and we might be able to move on in this division, but here we are. We're 2 steps back where we were before this card. Very disappointing ending. I think Tom Aspinall loses a lot of hype and aura here as well. He was starting to get pieced up already by Gane. His nose was busted. But what are you going to do? He copped a double eye poke from Ciryl Gane, knuckle deep. Strange how the one that went the deepest was his eye that he wasn't touching, but he got completely blatantly double eye poked, like the Bruno Silva, Chris Weidman one. But yeah, immediately it was over. Like Charles Sonnen called it live. He said, "I think this fight's done." As soon as it happened, and I could tell as well that Tom's body language was not good, and he didn't want to be there anymore, and he couldn't see. He was like, "I can't fucking see, mate," and yeah, we get a no contest. So really anticlimactic, disappointing. Deserving result for the dead-ass Abu Dhabi crowd, to be honest. They were dead all night long, and then they booed Tom at the end when he... So, yeah, pretty disappointing. Ciryl Gane's Mickey Mouse career just continues to roll on. Aspinall looks a bit overrated, and the heavyweight title picture continues to be straight chaos. And we still don't have a main event pick, boys. Can't even count that as one. So, anyway, we push on. Mackenzie Dern versus Virna Jandiroba. And we have a new women's strawweight champion, Mackenzie Dern. She walked out looking really confident, and Jandiroba walked out to "I Can See Clearly Now." Very ironic walkout song for crazy eyes. Tight. The whole fight was very tight to score. I think if Jandiroba looked as good as Dern did, and if they swapped looks ratings, Virna Jandiroba wins this fight. So it was not an arse whooping from Dern. It was a very close fight, but every single round was close, and Dern was having the better optics because, I think you can say the same for most of the rounds. I thought round 4 was pretty clear for Mackenzie Dern. I do think Mackenzie Dern won the fight as well, but I could definitely see it in a different light if the optics weren't there for Mackenzie, and it's hard to not fall into the optics of Mackenzie Dern when she's fighting like that. But her striking looked good. She definitely pieced up Jandiroba and busted up her face, and she was landing some good straight jabs and starting to feel herself at the end and going for spinning elbows and stuff. So, solid effort, Mackenzie Dern. Jandiroba, she's not far away. I don't think either of these two would be a dominant champion or last long with the belt. So we'll enjoy Mackenzie Dern while we've got her. And good stuff, Dern. Pretty similar to their first fight, just a little bit of a striking edge to Dern, and she gets it done and gets the belt wrapped around her, and she's a new strawweight champion. So got that pick, called it pretty well. I thought maybe we'd get a late rounds finish by Dern just to seal the deal, but Jandiroba's tough, and yeah, she made her work for it. But yep, good stuff, Mackenzie Dern. She gets it done by decision. I picked her to win by decision. In the feature fight, Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Bautista. I picked Umar by decision, and he gets it done by 30-27 decision with a couple of hairy moments, like I kind of said there would be. Mario Bautista cracked him early within the first minute, but Umar, and it kind of inspired and shocked Umar into going for some grappling. He wanted to after he felt Bautista's power. But Umar just basically out-wrestled him in round 1 and managed to land. The difference between Umar and some of the other wrestling-based decisions in this card was that Umar was staying busy. He was working. The ref never needed to, clap him along or anything. He just kept working to better positions and landing strikes here and there to keep it moving. So that's what happened in round 1. Round 2, Umar gets dropped by a knee. It looked like one of those flash knockdowns similar to what happened in the other fight that he had with the Bekzat Almakhan or whoever it was. Umar just drops flash down to a knee. very cool looking shot from Bautista. I think on the replay it showed that it sort of hit the neck more than the chin, but definitely dropped Umar. But Umar, again, stayed in it, out-grappled, and just used his grappling to set up the striking and have Bautista kind of second-guessing and hesitating because he was fearing the takedowns, because Umar was just obviously so well coached and so clinical on the ground and with his wrestling. He pure control. Round 3, Umar showed his championship material, fights through a bit of adversity, keeps winning with grappling, and neutralises and negates the striking game of Mario Bautista and gives him a bit of his own medicine. That's similar to, this was probably like a more entertaining version of what he did to Jose Aldo. So yeah, I was pretty impressed by that performance by Umar. Nothing special. Like, I still think Merab beats him, but he's back up in the mix there, and we called that one pretty well as well. So good stuff from Umar. He gets it done by decision. Interesting, exciting fight. I liked watching that one. Let's talk about Alexander Volkov versus Jailton Almeida. Bit of a controversial one, this one. I think the right guy got the nod, and it sort of balanced out a bit with Volkov's last decision to Gane that he got robbed in. So it was good to see him get a little bit of luck go his way. But it was, I wanted Jailton to win purely so I could get my pick. I'm very glad that Jailton Almeida didn't get the win, because his style is atrocious. Very boring, anti-fun, anti-violent style from Jailton Almeida. I get it, he's fighting a very dangerous guy, but he surely these guys, if you got wrestling that good and grappling that good, do you not practice and train to land some damage in ground and pound? Like, I don't understand how some guys seem to land ground and pound so easily and just do damage relentlessly, but then guys like Jailton, who spend 12 minutes of the fight in top position in full guard, can't manage to land some ground and pound. And in fact, the reason why Alexander Volkov got the nod here was because he did more damage, and he was on his back almost the whole fight, and he didn't land barely anything on the feet. So Jailton Almeida, he's very bad fight IQ and ability to win a fight. Like, I even saw when Volkov reversed him in round 1, and he kind of got on top and started landing a few little sharp elbows, Jailton looked broken again. I actually thought we were going to get another moment like Curtis Blades did to him, because it was wide-eyed and like, oh shit, this is not like going as easily as I want it to. And yeah, it was a pretty average performance from Jailton Almeida. I scored at 29-28. I think I gave Volkov rounds 3 and 2 maybe, or 1 and 3, something like that. But I wouldn't have surprised me if Jailton won, but I like the fact that the judges made a bit of a message, and I think this was what the judges were doing. They were sending a message to the fighters and saying, if you're going to sit on top for the whole fight and not land any damage, it doesn't matter if the other guy's on his back. If he's landing shots and landing elbows, he's getting the points. So yeah, pretty poor performance from Jailton Almeida. I've picked against Volkov the last couple of fights, and he's proved me wrong. So he didn't look very good in this fight. He just did enough and just was smart enough, and I think he won this through pure fight IQ and also the fact that he's so long that Jailton Almeida couldn't frame up and reach his head. Like, by the time he did frame up, he was so far away from his head that he couldn't even reach him with shots. So maybe that was part of the reason why Jailton didn't land any damage. But yeah, pretty poor performance from Almeida. It's typical Volkov though, because you would think with a performance like that, he's now going to fight for the title, but then now we see what happened. So Volkov's career continues to get screwed by fate as well. Maybe Volkov needs to go on the wheel of doom. So yeah, good job by Volkov. He gets a win by decision. Opening up the main card, it was Alexander Rakic versus Azamat Murzakanov. Yeah, I picked this one totally wrong. I picked Alexander Rakic and said that he was going to have a clinical decision or TKO win, and he'd make Azamat Murzakanov look like he didn't belong in the top 10. But I did say one thing right about this fight. I said Rakic in fights at times looks like he's the best fighter in the world, and he did again. The first minute or two, he looked like he was just cruising, just kicking the legs, landing good counter shots. He looked so much faster, longer than Azamat Murzakanov, and Murzakanov was just plodding around, waiting to time a shot. And I was like, I don't think this is going to work. If Rakic is as decent as I think he is, he's gonna whoop up Murzakanov here. But sure enough, Rakic just walks into a right hook and folds immediately. Azamat just got dynamite in his hands. either that or Rakic's chin is gone. But yeah, this fight just got doomed by one punch, and down goes Rakic, and Azamat just follows up and finishes him. TKO round 1. The undefeated run of Azamat Murzakanov continues, and Alexander Rakic, he's had a bit of a fall from grace, hasn't he? He's had a rough couple of years, so bad luck, Rakic. Azamat, good win. KO. Love it. All right, speaking of hectic KOs and dynamite, Quillan Salkilld gets the KO head kick win over Nasrat Hakparast in a big way. Quillan Salkilld, the Perth dude, I picked this guy. I said there's hype on this guy for a reason. We saw it there. Head kicks Nasrat Hakparast into the middle of next week. KO of the year contender. Nasrat Hakparast is out cold for almost 5 minutes. Thought he was dead. They were like doing that awkward thing in the octagon where they don't want to show him in case he is dead or just out of respect for his family or something. But yeah, it was nasty from Quillan Salkilld, but good to see because we love it when the Aussie boys step up. And you know, he took that fight on 10 days' notice or something, I think he was shouting. And you know, up, you know, a big test for him up the rankings. Nasrat Hakparast been on a big win streak, and he sleeps him bad. It was a bit of a strange fight before that. The Quillan was going for takedowns pretty regularly. He was mixing them in, but wasn't having a lot of success. I was like, well, if he keeps doing this, he's going to gas himself out or I don't know, walk into something. But yeah, just out of nowhere, just sets up the head kick. Hits it, kind of skims off the top of the head. Oh, it lands so solid, but it looked like it glanced off the top of the temple and just must have hit that perfect spot and just slept Nasrat bad. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Dustin Poirier getting slept by Gaethje. Like, he fell the same way, just full mullet, just silly salmon flopped down onto the cage. So, looked sick. Highlight reel, Quillan Salkilld announces himself like I said he would. Great work on the mic, calls out a ranked opponent. Massive dub for Quillan Salkilld. Ikram Aliskerov versus Jun Yong Park, the Iron Turtle. Pretty close fight, but clear win for Ikram Aliskerov. I had a bit of a feeling that we weren't going to get a round 1 TKO from Aliskerov. I think I did in the end, picking by TKO, but I was definitely feeling that he was due to go a decision, and I wanted to see what it would be like and what his gas tank was like. Not that good, I don't think. He seemed a bit ploddy and slow, even after the end of round 1. You know, his shorts were falling down. He looked like thick. He looked pretty fat. He kind of looks like a fat Habib kind of Ikram Aliskerov, but I think this was the biggest we've seen him look. And I was a bit worried there for a second, but the Iron Turtle doesn't really do anything different. He just kind of is the same guy. He was getting into it. He was waving him on, and he put up a good showing for himself. But yeah, he looked like he was trying to lose a decision in Jun Yong Park. Yeah, a bit strange, and I don't know what he thought he was doing. But there was a couple of moments where he did back up Ikram and started, you know, going at him with a bit of volume. But Ikram just defaulted to his wrestling, finished strong, stood his base, busted up Jun Yong Park a bit, and had him covered in blood. So yeah, it was a clear 30-27, I thought, for Ikram, but he didn't, even though he dominated the scorecards, he didn't really dominate the fight. It was a pretty close, entertaining fight, and Ikram didn't look all that good, but he did enough to get the nod. And yeah, I called that one pretty well too. So good stuff, Ikram. This one was absolutely sick. It was a war. Ludovit Klein versus Mateusz Rebecki. I said this was going to be the banger alert. I said though how much I love Mateusz Rebecki, and credit to this guy for how active he's been and how much damage and blood he's losing every fight. He does it again here. We get an absolute war. Ludovit Klein looks so sharp in round 1 and 2. That was the vintage Ludovit Klein that I knew that I was picking. Like, that was when I imagined how I thought this fight would go. It was how it went in round 1 and 2. Just Ludovit Klein, way lighter on his feet, kind of being the matador in there, but still landing beautiful straight shots as Rebecki came with the big overhands and mixed in a bit of grappling. But Klein was just so much sharper and tighter and busted up Rebecki as well. Round 3, though, it all goes pear-shaped for Ludovit Klein because he's just up in the clinch. And like, Mateusz Rebecki was actually starting to get the better of some exchanges in round 3 as well. But then he's wrestling in the clinch and kind of spins Ludovit Klein around and takes him down. And Ludovit Klein just snaps his leg, like goes so badly over it and hyperextends and snaps his ankle. And you could tell the energy shifted. Like, I knew something happened. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I was like, oh, something, like Klein's given up here or something's happened here. Like, something really is hurt. And And because he wasn't able to get up, and he didn't even try to get up, and then we now know why. But credit to Ludovit Klein, because even though he had a completely compound fractured broken ankle, and Mateusz Rebecki was just thumping him and raining down 12 to 6 elbows and ground and pound and tight shots, he still actually intelligently defended himself. Must have hurt, toughness personified right here, and he was still throwing elbows and slicing up Mateusz Rebecki from the bottom. And yeah, it was crazy. Well, I was actually a bit surprised that this still managed to go to Ludovit Klein. He gets a win by majority decision. I think one judge scored it 28-28, but I thought it should have been a draw, to be honest. I thought that it was very close to Rebecki getting a 10-8 in round 3, and he obviously lost 10-9 round 1 and 2. I think there's a very good argument that Rebecki got a 10-8 in round 3 there. He broke his ankle and busted him up, but the only thing that's working in Klein's favour is he was doing all right on the feet before the takedown, and he also was busting up Mateusz Rebecki with his elbows from the bottom. But Rebecki was working the crucifix. He nearly got him in a crucifix twice, and that could have been problems there. But yeah, Ludovit Klein gets it done by decision, like I said he would, but with a lot more adversity than I thought he would experience. I thought we were just going to get rounds 1 and 2 again in round 3, but yeah, I didn't account for the broken ankle. But fight of the night for sure. Sick bloody war. These boys are awesome. Good stuff. Got the Ludovit Klein pick. Another good pick down here was the Walter Walker versus Louis Sutherland one. Walter Walker, man, he looked elite in there. I know he was not against a very good opponent, but yeah, he looked good, man. He's the heel snatcher. He needs to get a new name. He shouldn't be the clean monster or whatever it is. He should be the heel snatcher or the foot snatcher or something, because that is his new vibe, his personality. Louis Sutherland gets him with a couple of shots in round 1, but Walter Walker just goes no nonsense, gets the takedown, rolls over into a heel hook, and Sutherland just rolls the wrong way and nearly gets his foot ripped off, and Walter Walker gets his 4th heel hook in a row. 2 foot for Brazil, 2 for Russia. Come on, Habibi. He's done his work on the mic too. Oh, man, I love Walter Walker. This man's a Punch Ons institution. He called out Hamdi Abdul Wahab afterwards. You take down this chocolate pepper pig. I will show you how to wrestle. I love it, bro. Star power. I want to see the Hamdi fight. I reckon he whoops Hamdi Abdul Wahab. Snaps off his ankle. Yeah, I want to see that. So, good shit, Walter Walker. That was a good lock. My other lock, man, Nathaniel Wood versus Jose Delgado. Firstly, it was a banger of a fight. Nathaniel Wood gets the decision. I think it was a split decision. I don't think Nathaniel Wood should have won that fight. Look, it's a close enough fight that I'm not going to scream robbery, but I thought that Jose Delgado clearly won at least rounds 1 and 3, but Nathaniel Wood clearly won round 2. Delgado dropped Wood with a spinning combo, broke his nose, and fucked him up in round 1. Like, it was pretty clear. But credit to Nathaniel Wood, he was tough, and he did actually sting Jose with some good stuff and drop him, I think, himself in round 2 and made Delgado go through more work and pain than he probably expected. And he looked a bit like a deer in the headlights, but I thought Delgado did enough just with his striking to win round 3. So a little bit disappointed in that one. Nathaniel Wood gets the decision. I felt pretty strongly about the lock on that one. I thought, I still think Jose Delgado is pretty sick and he'll be something to watch at featherweight there, but he gets a shit scorecard there and loses to Nathaniel Wood. So a little bit disappointing there, but hey, you can't do much when the judges go against what probably should have been the right decision. So bad luck, Delgado. He will also be back. Chris Barnett versus Hamdi Abdel Wahab. This fight was an absolute disgrace. The coin flip was, I'm embarrassed that the coin even had to pick this fight. The coin picked Chris Barnett. I was going to pick Hamdi Abdel Wahab, but I just didn't want to fucking pick Hamdi and then have Chris Barnett win by TKO or something. So we ended up going with Chris Barnett. It was a disgrace. It was an absolute slop fest. Hamdi got him with an illegal elbow, a couple of illegal elbows in round 1, and I thought we were going to have a Kevin Holland moment, but at least Chris Barnett was tough enough to keep fighting. But Chris Barnett, it was the most out of shape I've ever seen him. Looked like shit. He's gone bald as well. There's no way that this guy's able to call himself a UFC heavyweight and win a fight. Hamdi Abdel Wahab just used his physicality, took him down, pulled his pants down, dacked him, wins by decision, smudges him, lands the most pathetic noodle arm punches you've ever seen, and yeah, we had this absolute stain on the sport on the heavyweight division. It was not a good night for the heavyweight division. That was supposed to be a bit of a showcase here, and instead we got Chris Barnett getting his ass crack out and mooning the entire crowd and almost having a heart attack in the cage. So not exactly what they wanted from the heavyweight division. I don't think these boys are ever going to be anywhere near the belt, but so Hamdi Abdelwahab gets it done. Feed him to Volta Walker and let him get his fucking foot ripped off. Mitch Raposo versus Azat Maxim. I picked Azat Maxim by KO or decision. He's got nothing. He missed weight by 5 pounds and he got out wrestled and out jabbed and tagged up by Mitch Raposo. Mitch Raposo just had a lower base and was getting in and landing shots. Both guys pretty low level. Cut Azat Maxim. Mitch Raposo gets his win in the UFC. So yeah, started the first 4 picks were bad actually, because the first fight, I actually didn't watch this one, but caught up in round 3, Jacqueline Amorim versus Mizuki Inoue. Looked like Mizuki just whooped her ass. By the time I looked at it, Mizuki had her in the clinch and was landing shots and busted her up and had a bit of blood coming out of her. So yeah, Mizuki gets the upset decision win to kick off the night. Yeah, bad early prelim of picks, that's for sure, but I still reckon I should have got the Jose Delgado pick. Anyway, let's get on to the Punch Ons bonuses. Punch Ons fight of the night's got to go to Ludovit Klein versus Mateusz Rebecki. It was a bloody war, this one. We had broken bones. Could have been a draw, maybe a 10-8. Litres of blood that's painted the octagon red for the rest of the night. Both of these guys deserve a bonus. I'm sure they'll get one. Ludovit Klein, broken ankle, get him some money to get that surgery. But yeah, sick job. Love these guys. Ludovit Klein, Mateusz Rebecki, fight of the night. Performance bonuses, we're handing out 3 again tonight. Quillan Salkilld, mate. Head kicks Nazrat into the afterlife. Strong KO of the year contender. Fully sick Quillan Salkilld. Give him 66k. Another bonus has got to go to my man Volta Walker. 4th heel hook in a row. Electric on the mic. He's an absolute chaos merchant. I want to see some more of this guy. And the last bonus is going to the hitman, Azamat Mirzakhanov. Cleanly assassinates Alexander Rakic. Had a sick finish. He's got to get one too. So Punch On's performance bonuses tonight. They're going to Ludovit Klein, Mateusz Rebecki, Quillan Salkilld, Volta Walker, Azamat Mirzakhanov. With some honourable mentions to Umar. He looked pretty good tonight. Mackenzie Dern, can't fault her. She had a good decision win. And Nathaniel Wood, who, even though I didn't think won the fight, he had a good comeback from a bad round 1. Most cooked performance, easy call. Apart from the main event, which is pretty cooked as well, but you can't really do much about that. Chris Barnett, please, Dana, cut this unit before he drops dead mid-fight. He could not even keep his shorts on, moon the crowd, not in like a funny Derek Lewis way, like in a sad, embarrassing way. Yeah, embarrassing that we call this guy UFC heavyweight. Get him out. So that's it for the recap for UFC 321. We had a 6-6 record on picks, 1 lock out of 2 hit. So perfectly balanced, as all things should be. We got robbed with Jose Delgado there. Doom all over the card. Alexander Volkov screwed again. Mackenzie Dern's got the belt wrapped around her waist. Cyril Gane's still a fraud. Tom Aspinall's a bit overhyped. Might make a video about that. The heavyweight division remains completely cursed. I'll see you boys throughout the week for a bit of content around this Garcia versus Onama card. Punch Ons out.